Tell them, want $1 million by your morning. Tired physical get a youth balling. Ya know me never know if you right on the beats. Yo, tell them what we wanting. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich.
Yeah. Pull up that song there, dog.
Whoa, critical. Tell them, want $1 million by your morning. Tired physical get a youth balling. Ya know me never know if you right on the beats. Yo, tell them what we wanting. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Whoa.
Yes, my people. Thank you for joining us today on episode 5 of Prolific Vibes Podcast. Positive vibes equals positive results. Positive vibes every time. You already know the vibes. I just wanted to bring y'all back. That's a rerun of when I used to produce music. Big up Ray Beats. That was our producer, R&R Music Group. Big up my boy Nashad. You know what I mean? We had the reggae music thing popping for a minute and dynamics changed, things changed. We fell off, but that was one of our productions, 99 Degrees. I just had to reminisce and brought that back on the intro. You already know. And for today's topic, what we're going to talk about is episode 5. YouTube, big up yourself. You already know the vibe. And today is can't change your circle, or rather yet, can't change the people around you, change the people around you. I don't know if that was pun intended based on the music, but you know, that's what we're going to talk about today. Thank y'all for joining us today, and let's begin. Now, you could blame failure on your actions and things that you do, but you can also equally blame failure on the people that's around you. Because if the people around you is not motivating you or giving you gems or giving you ideas to be great, then, you know what I mean? In a nutshell, it's failure within itself, because you're supposed to surround yourself with people who let you grow and to elevate. So if the people around you is just there to do all the other worldly things besides being successful and leveling up, you know, that's a failure in itself. And for you, at times, you won't see it, especially if, you know, you hanging around with people who call themselves OGs, or you hanging around people that, you know, is older than you, that's supposed to be giving you game, and you're trying to emulate, you know, things that they're doing because you think is right. And a lot of times that trap is set from family members. You know, me, for example, I used to look up to my cousins, you know what I mean? And nobody couldn't do, well, they couldn't do wrong in my eyes, let me say that. But as I get older and started circling myself with different people and understanding there's other things in the world, and life is about a lot more than, you know, getting high and smoking and drinking and being depressed and, you know, putting your problems on other people or just talking about what this person is doing or that person is doing. You're going to see a big difference in your life. And sometimes that's what happens. So when you start going around different people and you realize they ain't talking about, or they're not about what you and your family or your friends that you grew up is about, it's a culture shock. You know what I mean? And it's a life shock, because you're like, damn, I thought everybody was out here doing what I was doing. So in reality, failure is just as important because of the people around you, just as success is just as important because of the people around you. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not telling everybody out there to just leave your friends and, you know, start calling people bums and no good and, you know what I mean, and just go deal with a bunch of new people, because there's rules to this. You could go around a bunch of new people and they're going to use you. And once they finish using you, you're useless. Like everybody know the saying, you know what I mean? They can't use you, you're useless. You get what I'm saying? And also, everybody in this world is here to be used, but not misused. So basically what I'm saying is you have to use what I'm saying with grace, and you have to put thought into it. And I'm going to say it again, today's episode, and thanks for tuning in to everybody. If you're on YouTube watching, big shout out, bless up yourself. All my podcast listeners, can't change the people around you, change the people around you. I'm going to say that again. Can't change the people around you, change the people around you. Because there has to be somebody in the group or somebody in the clique or somebody in the circle that is getting privy information to level up or to elevate in life. At some point, like everybody don't grow at the same pace. Everybody don't get the same information at the same time. But once that information is being processed by someone and they now giving that information to their immediate circle and the people around them, and you see you are elevating and you try to pass that knowledge on, pass that gem on to the other people in the circle, you touch them on the shoulder, you be like, yo, this is the play, blah, blah, blah. This is what's going on, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And you're hearing a bunch of yeah. And all right, I'm going to look into it or I'm going to do it. And you realize nobody's doing it. But yet still, everyone is trying to leech off your success and what you're doing. But you out here giving them the play. You out here telling them what you're doing to get to the position that you're in. But they're not doing it. You know what they're doing? They're waiting for you to make every move and then have their hands out, asking for something. Have their hands out to be like, you know what I mean? Let me get this. Oh, you got it. Let me get this. The whole time you there trying to show them like, yo, come. This is what I'm doing. This is the play I'm making. This goes for every business model. You know what I mean? This goes for if you want to be an entertainer, an actor, comedian, a businessman, real estate, transportation business, media, marketing, whatever. Once that person in the group get that information, a lot of time it's not that the person switch up or, you know what I mean, they change ways or they being mean. They try to pass the game on. They try to tell their peoples, yo, this is what I'm doing. This is the play. Let's make this move. And then you have the friends, families, bums around you that all they doing is yesing you to death. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to check it out. I got you. Excuse me. I'm going to do all of this. And yet still, they not doing shit. They doing all the other shit they've been doing. Excuse my language. Everything else they've been doing for all these years and in the same position they've been in for all these years. But yet still they want to talk about, they want to come up and, you know what I mean? They want to get the bag. They want to do all of this. But nobody's paying attention and nobody's taking advice. And that's the problem. Everybody wants to level up and get to the next level in their life, but they're not following directions. There's people out here giving gems, giving people the blueprint of how to get to the next level. And it's unfortunate. A lot of that information is coming from social media. So people get so engulfed with that information, they get blinded by it. You don't know what's real from what's not. But in a token, if you're a go-getter, if you're a motivator, you'll know how to pick sense out of nonsense. You'll know how to pick true information from bullshit. But bottom line is, you can't change your circle, then you're going to have to find another circle. Because guess what? Like my friend Craig always tell me when we chopping it up, your circle can either be the people that's going to elevate you and get you to that next level, or your circle going to be a cage. So I'm saying that to say this. You can't change the people around you, change the people around you. Because if you stay around them motherfuckers long enough, they're going to be you're going to be the prisoner in their cage. You're going to live the lifestyle they live, which ain't about shit. You understand? They're going to want you to stay on their level. And before you know it, you're going to be another bum, another stereotype, another statistic. You know what I mean? They're already looking at our culture and our people like idiots. All we know how to do is entertain. All we know how to do is fucking TikTok videos, twerking and busting it open and talking about guns and shooting each other. You know what I mean? That's the only thing they think we know. You know, the intelligent people, the intellectual people from our culture get shunned to the side like they're the dummies. Like, they're the ones that's not supposed to be leading the culture to, financial freedom. You know what I mean? And that's the frustrating part. So I'm telling any one of my young boys out there, any one of my young girls out there, listen to what I'm telling you. Can't change the people around you, change the people around you, because then you're going to fall by the wayside just like them. You know what I mean? And sometimes people in your circle just need that one motivator. If you feel like you that one motivator, go out there and do it. And come back to your peoples and pass the information on. And you'll know who's going to take that information and soak up game and keep it moving and come with you and elevate you, and you elevate them, and you be on a different playing field. You'll be on a different plane. And then you'll know the bums that's going to keep yesing you to death, acting like they know everything, and then go about their everyday life and not about shit. So at the end of the day, elevate yourself, look at who's around you, know what they're about. If they going to come, they're going to come. If they not going to come, they're going to fall off. And I'm sure in thousands of podcasts, thousands of interviews, thousands of, media, you hear successful people telling you this. They're not the ones that change. It's the people around them that change. Because once you start making moves and you start getting money, they feel like you owe them something, you know what I mean? Or you're supposed to. Because y'all grew up and they family or they best friends, you supposed to do this. No, you're not supposed to do shit. The only thing you're supposed to do is for you to keep being successful. And yes, some people get passes based on your relationship with them. Not because of their title, but because of the actual relationship. So everybody will have a specific case. And the individual will have a specific case to what I'm saying. Some mothers get a pass, some mothers won't. Some fathers will get a pass, some fathers won't. Vice versa to everybody in your family. Some people will get a pass because they put you on a pedestal, or they put you on game, or they put you on a level where you're going to reciprocate, you know what I mean, that love. But on the other end, the ones that was never there, never did shit for you. Don't come saying that's my son. Don't come saying that's my daughter. Don't come saying that's my niece or my nephew or my cousin. You know what I mean? When they doing what they supposed to do and out here doing it the right way and becoming successful, being financially free and moving on to the next level. Don't come attach yourself now. And like everybody say, you know what I mean? When you out there doing your thing, you are struggling and they don't see the struggle. They don't see, for example, me, they don't see the days where, I start my clothing line and I don't sell not one merch for the whole month. They don't see that. But I'm not out here crying and complaining because I know it's a part of the game. There's things in life that resonate with you, and there's things in life that you will always remember. And one of the things I remember is reading a post. And for some reason, I see that post maybe 2-3 times a year. And every time I see it, I reminisce and I reflect, and I don't take it lightly. And it says that the first year Coca-Cola was in business, they sold 1 bottle of Coke. I don't know how accurate it is, but goddamn it, it's accurate to me. Just off life experience and to see where Coke is at today as a company in comparison to how they started. Because they started at some point. Every company started at flatline 0 at some point and made it to where they are. And I'm going to tell you, along the way, you know how much people fell off the wagon? How much people fell off that train for that company to be where they are and to be as successful as they are? A lot of people, employees, friends, families, peers, workers, a lot of people going to fall off that train because guess what? The road to success, there is no detour. There is no detour to the road to success. If you feel like you made a left turn or a right turn and it's wrong, you was meant to make that turn because you're going to learn from that. So don't feel like it's a detour. It's the path. It was always the path. And like people say, sometimes it's not the destination. It's how you're getting there. It's not where you're going. It's the direction you're taking to get there. It's the experience you're going to have. That's where the knowledge comes from. That's where you soak up all the game. That's where you learn. That's where all the bumps and bruises come from. So, I'm saying this very proudly. I'm saying it from a place of understanding and a place of knowing. You can't change the people around you. Change the people around you. Because I don't feel no one intentionally would get information, get the sauce, as they would say, to elevate their immediate people around them, not pass that information on and just get up, get the information and leave everybody in the dust. If it happened, let's say 95% people won't do that. 5% will. And as we know, majority rules. So anything that happens in majority is what we're going to be known for as people. So also, just to backtrack, I don't want no female to take offense to what I'm saying, that our culture is only known for that. That's what they're showing. That's what the majority is doing. But we do have our queens out there. We do have our kings out there that's showing positive vibes, positive message, trying to put a positive light on our people, on our culture and everything. It's just sad that we're the ones that's getting pushed to the side with no light on us, because they want the monkeys with their ass up in the air to show and give a good show. You know what I mean? And everybody know what I'm saying when I say that. If you don't know, then unfortunately that passed you. That went over your head. But yeah, can't change the people around you, change the people around you. Because when you see success, feel what success feels like and want it, you're going to want to surround yourself with that. Unfortunately, our culture sometimes get a lot of stigma and have a lot of sayings and a lot of nuances around it. And, one of them is, you don't want no new friends. Your people, till you die. Yeah, that's good. If the people around you and your old friends is going to stick to the script, and stand firm, 10 toes down, and follow the rules of being loyal and the rules of coming up together. But if I'm the only one following the rule and nobody else around me is following the rule, then what I'm doing? They're going to drag me down. I won't have enough to share for everybody. I won't have enough to go around because I don't have no second, no third, no fourth to help bring me up or to help when I'm down or when I don't got it. I don't have nobody to turn to. I don't have anyone that's going to be like, all right, I got it. That's why you as strong as a team around you. So, I don't want nobody to fall into the trap talking about you don't want no new friends. We get it. And I get it, especially in business. Sometimes you get screwed over so many times trying new things, going into business with new people. We understand. Not because it's a new person and it's a new opportunity, it's going to go great. But you have to surround yourself with people that's being progressive, people that's successful. And if you guys are like-minded and have the same drive and have the same vision based on a business model, there is no reason why, if everything feels right, not to do it. Person don't have to be your friend. We're not saying to get rid of all your friends and go find new friends and do business with all of them, because you're basically going to be screwing yourself. And you have to be around people to understand and to elevate, because no one person knows everything. You have millionaires out here, you have billionaires out here, and they'll tell you on a daily, they don't know everything. There's a business model and there's something going on in the world that they're researching and they're trying to get a piece of it and they're trying to understand it. Because what they know is just a portion of what the world has to offer. You have creators, you have inventors, you have content creators, you have people in all sectors, in all business sectors. No one person knows everything, no matter how much money they have. They just find the niche in their industry and they capitalized off of it and they made the most of it and became successful, financially free, made millions, possibly billions. But these people, they don't stop. They're still there enhancing as much knowledge and grasping everything they possibly can in their power, not only to keep the wealth, but to gain more knowledge, because with knowledge comes power. And there's a lot of things that we've been hearing, they've been telling us since we was young, and nobody's paying attention to it. A lot of things, a lot of little sayings that go over a lot of people's head. You know, knowledge is power. And the first thing they'll do is they'll tell you, go to school and get a degree. That's not what knowledge is power means. Knowledge is power basically is telling you that anything that you learn and you can do it good enough, you can be successful from it. And then you can move on to something else and do the same thing all over again. Because once you have the knowledge in something, you will find a way to make it happen and you will be successful. Nothing against people that has degrees or going to college. Some people have to. Nothing against the school system. I don't agree with it 100%, but we're not going to get into that topic today. I'm just basically trying to let people know that you got to find yourself and you got to find what works for you. And sometimes the people that you're around possibly is not going to work for you. It has to be things that you've noticed and you want change, but you realize it wasn't going to change, if you see what I'm trying to say. Because I'll use me as a reference once again. I love my family to death. I'll do anything for my family, but that's where it stops. I'll never do business with my family. And at this point in my life, I am tired of giving family blueprint and they look it over. And I feel like one of the biggest stigma is, especially in the black community, you don't want to learn nothing from the younger person because you feel like they don't know what you know. Or what do you know? You my little cousin. And I feel like that was my issue. I was looked at as the younger cousin, came from Jamaica. What do you know? How can you teach me anything? You know, because they were born here. They a few years older than me, let's say anywhere from 8 to 10 years, because I'm talking about multiple family members. You know, I came from Jamaica, did okay in school. I wasn't the brightest, but I wasn't dumb. So I went through school, no problem. You know, and I started experimenting with a lot of things. One of the first thing I did was DJing. And that was a passion of mine. I still DJ, but from a personal level. You know, if it's a friend or a family that wants to do a party, I still have equipment. I'll rock the party, but as far as doing it for money or exposure, I'm not anymore. So I started experimenting with different ways of being financially free and just not have to work for anyone. And it was always embedded in me. Oh, go find a job. That's not going to take you nowhere. You know, the typical spill. I'm not going to really go down that road. Long story short, had a bunch of 9 to 5. While I had the 9 to 5s, I was doing a lot of different hustles in the streets, legal hustles, just to be an entrepreneur, just to be successful, just to be my own boss. And a lot of those stuff I try to pass on to family members, and they looked at me like I was crazy. You know, years down the line, fast forward to now, you know, I'm pleased to say I'm not rich in no sense of the word. I am working towards being wealthy, you know, but I can tell you for the past few years, I have not had to punch a clock. I have not had to jump out my sleep because I'm late for anybody's job. I've been lucky enough to kind of guide my own spirit and my own path on a daily to what I need to accomplish and what I need to get done and what's on my checklist to get to that next level. And it's a good feeling. And I know I've moved from New York to Florida, Florida to Atlanta, in the transition again of moving. And I got to a point where I'm not scared. And I feel like one of those first push was the fact of me leaving my mother in Jamaica at a young age to come to America. So after doing that, I felt like if I need to move to get to that next level, I'll move. And a lot of people is stuck because of that one thing, you know, and I'll give you a prime example. A lot of people in New York, yeah, New York is a place to be. New York is great. They're not leaving New York because everywhere else is slow. That's one of the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. And you try to tell people and you try to give them knowledge on things, they they're going to tell you yeah, okay, no problem, I'm going to look into it. Never do, because they're stuck. They're stuck in their ways. So what do? Got up and left New York and do your own thing. Can't change the people around you? Change the people around you. And then years later, they have 1,000,001 questions. How did you do? Motherfucker, what do you mean by how did I do? When I was telling you to come, let's do this, you was yeah-ing me to death and say you're going to look into it. Yeah, I'm going to get to it, and all these things. You never did. So don't ask the questions now. So I'm telling my people, your peoples, everybody who's listening, who's tuning in, make moves that's going to benefit you. Everything else is going to be secondary. I remember 2015, 2016, my friend told me, yeah, I'm going to have to try to do this long distance relationship thing with my girl because I'm ready to move in. She's not, because she told me she don't got no friends down here. And, she doesn't want to start all over. And let me tell you, this day and age today, they're not together. My friend is doing 1,000 times better than her. She's now still stuck in New York. All her friends got married, kids, left her ass in New York, and now she's trying to find herself. So what does that tell you? These are one of the people that they're going to have to get that harsh reality. You know what I mean? So can't change the people around you, change the people around you. And it goes for anybody. Loved ones, friends, family, significant other. It doesn't matter. If you know you want better for your life, and you know you can do better for your life, and you see the road in front of you, you see the blueprint, and you telling somebody, yo, come. I think this is a move. I think this is a play. And they're going to give you the, okay, yeah, all right, I'm going to look into it, I'll get back to you story. Don't sit there and wait, because you're going to be the one regretting it. It's better they regret it and you don't, because you see the vision and you wanted to make that move, but you don't regret it. You don't sit there 10 years later and be like, why did I listen to this and stay? You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. So if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. And I'm hoping this is getting to the ears of the motivators, the influencers, everybody that needed to hear this. Because some point in life, there's something that you have to hear that somebody's going to say. And in that point in your life, you're going to need to hear it. You might have heard it from somewhere else 1,000 times before. But it's going to be that one time when you hear it and you're really going to need to hear it. So I hope whoever is out there listening, you really need to hear this. Can't change the people around you. Change the people around you. Because you only want better for yourself, so you'd want better for the people around you, because then that's going to be your circle. And if you see those people are not willing to change, please, I'm telling you, make a move. Get the step in for your own benefit. Like they say, the ones that's meant to be there is going to be there. The ones that are not meant to be there is going to fall off. They're going to fall off. Because it wasn't their destiny in the first place. It's yours. So to wrap up this episode, I just want to say, everybody have their own path, their own dream, their own aspiration. Not because your direction is different from someone else's direction doesn't mean that they're fucking up or you're fucking up or they're doing the wrong thing and you're doing the right thing. Everybody have their own path. But when everything is aligned and that person's supposed to be a friend or a close one, that will never change. Because you have friends that, one is an athlete, one is a musician. They're both doing great, both successful, but they just understood what their path was. But they were true to themselves and they were true to each other to know, like, yo, we boys, but we're going to have to make these moves separately and understand each other. And then we can come back at the table and build and do bigger things and better things apart from what our calling was. So I want that also to be clear in when I'm saying can't change the people around you, change the people around you. It could be for a good and sometimes it could be for a bad. But in both sense, if you're true to yourself and you have real people around you, it will always be for the good. Because one of y'all could go left, one could go right, but guess what? Home is still home. You know what I mean? Realness is still realness. And once everybody's sitting back at the table with their ideas and their experiences, it would only make us as a people better. So you can change the people around you sometimes to follow your vision, because they have to see you doing it sometimes before they see it and know that it works. While you have some of them just are in disbelief and don't give a shit. They don't care what you're doing because they just leeches. They just want to have their hands out. They want you to do all the work and they reap the benefits. You know, but we try not to be negative on this podcast. We try not to shed light on the bullshit. We always want to uplift. We always want to be positive. You know, we always want our people and everybody else, because we're not selfish, to be successful, you know, live a life of financial freedom, because with that, that's a part of happiness. You know, we're not saying money buy happiness, but when you have that room to be creative and to be free and to laugh and to experiment and to travel, because you're not worrying about the daily bullshit bills. And the only thing that will allow you not to worry about those is just having financial freedom. You know, life gets a little better. So, you know, I'm going to leave you guys with that gem today. Thank you for tuning in. You too, big up yourself. And like I said, you know, when I started the podcast, I started with one of our productions I had when I was doing music. And I'm going to leave with the same production. It was one of my favorite songs on that rhythm when we did it. It was 99 Degrees Rhythm. And I'm going to leave you guys out with that. And positive thoughts give you positive results, positive vibes every time. You already know it's a Prolific Vibes podcast. This is Rick. Everybody out there, love y'all.
$1 by your morning. Tired fizzy get a youth balling. Ya know me never know if you right on the beat. Yo, tell them what we wanting. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, want rich. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, want rich. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Send me a game for my goal like a FIFA kick that now give up my lock it tight like a G-Shock wristwatch. Money me a pre, I want a piece of this cash. Listen king to the words me release on this track. Hustle long time now me want see the cash. Now go switch now go see me right shine for the cash. Me palm me touch catch figure one pan the stash where we want. Something green like Elon for me stash. Every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Whoa, every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich, want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich. Every ghetto youth want rich.
Yes, and that's it for today's show, guys. And if you want to go and support our clothing line, I know I always throw it in when I'm talking, but I never really promote it. It's called pnbapparelcorp.com. pnbapparelcorp.com. And I'm wearing one of the shirts, and it's the same logo as well for my podcast. Like we say, positive thoughts, positive results. pnbapparelcorp.com. And this shirt is from the Prolific Brand Collection. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.